Hello guys, welcome to my channel again. Yours truly here, Bobby Nordlife. I'm glad you guys can join me. Make sure you guys drop a like and a comment down below if you want to make yourself known. Help me conversate with you guys. I'm a stand-up comedian and I like to use a lot of your guys' feedback to talk about certain topics for our weekly laugh fest. Because we all know that we can all use a laugh, especially given how our weeks are going today. So, without any further ado, let's get on with the show. And you can, in fact, find me on Facebook at Bobby Nordlife. Excuse me. And you can also find me on Instagram at BOBBYQUINTERO13666. Mouthful. I know. So the main thing that I wanted to cover today, to try to get you guys laughing, is I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of an experience that I went through when I was a kid. One of my very first heavy metal experiences, I was only about 12 or 11. And it's around about the same time period that I met my brother Levi. And Levi knows who he is. You know, Levi will probably find this video and know, that's me! You know, because of course that's him. I love my brother. My brother and I, we've gone through so many crazy adventures. So I'm going to share with you the very first adventure. So make sure that you turn on the bell icon, subscribe, drop a comment, whatever. Make yourself known. Find me on Facebook or Instagram. I will love to hear from you guys because I wouldn't be here without you guys. Alright, so with all that out of the way. It was back in 2002. 2003-ish. It was an earlier time period, you know what I'm saying? You know? So, metal at that time was pretty underground and Hot Topic wasn't really a thing, so it was pretty hard to be alternative. So we had to build our own clothes and do all sorts of cool things like that. Me, I had a father that was really strict and wouldn't let me dress or have long hair like this. Ever, you know. So at the time I had really short hair that was like a bowl cut, you know, really baggy shirt, baggy pants and all that. I looked like a total dork. I mean, I looked like somebody from Ross and Dee Dee's just threw up all over it, just like, oh, there's that kid, man, walking out of Dee Dee's discount store. That was me basically before I ended up with the image that I have now. I'm 26 now, so 2002 to 2020, do the math. So anyways, pretty freaking sure it was around 2002. It could have been 2005. I graduated in 2012, so we're not going to get too far into that. One of the main things that I wanted to say about this experience, one of the first heavy metal experiences was, I ended up with a CD of Iron Maiden, The Trooper, and I gave it to my brother Levi, and the metal stories began from there. We ended up sword fighting, we ended up, you know, doing the whole shebang, you know, with swords and stuff, just wha-pa, 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 and giving each other welts on the arms and ribs and stuff and everything. It was really fun, and it was really positive because we were really bullied for being alternative in those early years, you know. So one day, we decided to go to Ramona High School. And if those of you that are familiar with Ramona High School, big shout outs. This is in Riverside. We lived in the apartments across the street. So it was the backside of Ramona where it attached to a tennis ball court behind the track, you know, that you run around and run laps in, you know. So there was this fence that was like about 3 feet, 4 feet high. And I went to go climb over the fence, you know, a second time because we had already gotten over the fence on the other side on a higher, like 11-foot fence and jumped over bushes and ended up in the track area of Ramona. And we fiddle farted around, you know, we ran around the track a few times. We jumped, they were hosting a gymnasium tournament, in the following week of that time. So they had all the gymnasium mats on the floor that were these thick foam pads. So we did front flips onto them and all this crazy stuff onto them. We were having a ball, you know. But it was really, really, really hot. And I remember Levi with his red face telling me, "It's really hot. We should go home and play video games in the air conditioning." Me having fun, I was like, "No, I want to stay here." And we ended up on the other side of the fence somehow. I don't exactly remember how, but we ended up on the other side, fiddle farting around, throwing shit at each other, the whole 9 yards, hitting each other with sticks and shit and everything. It was totally fun, and I told Levi, "No, I don't want to go back to your apartment and play video games. I want to stay here and have fun." So Levi was like, "I don't think that's a good idea." And I was like, "No, I think it is a good idea." And this, my friends, is a story of all stories of how me and my brother's relationship always was. Levi would try to talk me out of stuff, and I would just egg him on, and it would just blow up out of proportion. So I ended up crawling up this fence, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with chain link fences, but they look like little diamonds. So when I kicked my foot over, right, and I'm leaning on the fence now, and I'm like directly pivotal on the middle part of the fence, trying not to crush my nuts, because I'm not strong at this point. I'm a youngster. I'm only 12 years old at this point in time. I'm like, "Oh, Levi, what do I do?" And Levi's like, "Kick your other foot over and just drop." And I was too scared to kick my other foot over and just drop. I was too scared, so I slowly let myself down. And then my pants on the middle part of the seam got caught on that chain link and pinched. And Levi was like, "Are you good?" And I'm sitting on my butt at this point in time on the rail. I'm no longer holding myself up. I'm sitting on my butt. I'm like, "You know what? I'm good." And I go kick my other foot over. I put my foot back. I'm like, "Oh, fuck that." I put my foot back. I look at Levi and I'm like, "Hey man, I'm stuck." And I'm still holding myself with all I got in my grip. And Levi's like, kick your foot off. Kick your foot off and jump back over here to me and I'll catch you. I'm looking at Levi like, okay. And as soon as I kick my foot over, it rips my pants in half and then completely fall off. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the early 2000s, but I had an older brother named Chris that was 5 years older than me, and he always told me if you free ball or sleep naked, your balls are going to get bigger. Your junk is going to get bigger. So I was free balling at the time. I was testing the waters of free balling. So I had no underwear on underneath my pants, When my pants fell off, luckily I had a shirt that was long enough to my knees. And as soon as I hit the ground, so did my shirt. And I pulled my shirt down. Like, as soon as I was midair and my pants were falling off, I had grabbed my shirt and pulled it down at the same time and landed. My ass was hanging out and everything. Cars were driving by, honking their horns. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Look at the dumbass kid stuck on the fence with his ass hanging out. Ah, ha, ha, ha. And I was embarrassed as fuck. Like, "Oh my God." And Levi was like, "Oh my God, let's hurry up and run home." So now you got two young ass rascals, running across the street back to the apartment. And I was so embarrassed. I mean, so fucking embarrassed that when I ran back, I ran through the sliding glass door of his apartment at the time and into the bathroom and shut the door. Boom! "I don't want to die. And Levi was like, "It's gonna be fine, bro. Here, man, I got some swimming trunks for you." And he gave me some swimming trunks that were like that much too big on my waist. Like, around my waist, I still had that much room because Levi's always been a head and a half taller than me. Nowadays, we're about the same length. He's maybe got 2 inches on me. We both shot up like beanstalks. But still, nonetheless, I ended up having to put on these freaking shorts, and I tied them as tight as I could, and they still had like that much of room around my waist and slipping down. And I was really, really, really embarrassed. And I was really feeling bad, and I was feeling like shit. And Levi was like, he sat down next to me when we started playing video games later after that and was like, "Hey bro, And I was just sitting there like, I can't believe this happened to me. And Levi was like, hey bro, that was pretty metal. And I looked at Levi and I was like, yeah? And he was like, yeah. It was like, cool. So ever since then, I've always been into heavy metal music and heavy metal stuff. You know. And we actually went swimming after that, and I lost my shorts in the swimming pool. It was like two embarrassing things in one. I jumped into the pool and dived, and my pants slipped all the way down to my ankles, and I grabbed them and pulled them back up underwater and shot back up and tried to bundle up the waist because my brother Levi is a lot bigger than me. And I just remember being so embarrassed that I just sat on the side of the pool, and I was like, no, I'm good. I don't need to swim. I'm going to lose my shorts, you know. You have fun, bro. And those are the kind of memories that I love about my brother and my mom, Christy, you know, because those days were absolutely fucking phenomenal for us developing into being adults. So hopefully you guys got a good laugh out of that. Hopefully you guys got a good jolly out of that. That's one out of the very, very many millions of experiences that we have that are absolutely hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, me as an adult looking back, it's absolutely hilarious. Because me seeing a kid going through that, running across the street with his ass hanging out, is freaking funny, man. It is freaking funny. So just imagine that. The embarrassment. My face was going to explode. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the story. Thank you guys for joining. Make sure you guys turn on that bell notification. If you guys actually lasted towards the end of this video, I hope you guys post a comment and we can conversate and come up with new content for me to talk about. And mostly these are just going to be funny stories about when I was a kid. And that was the very first moment where I started actually being metal, was because I realized metal doesn't get embarrassed like that. It's just me and my brother Levi, and we had a good day, and we're still brothers to this day, to the betterment of my knowledge. I still love my brother and I still love my mother. So, you know, with everything being said, thank you guys for joining my video. I'm going to try to get this uploaded as quick as I possibly can. And once again, big shout out to Unearthly Ghoul. She's my loyal fan. And I hope you're doing good too on your end. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Alright, y'all. Thanks for joining.